What is up, everybody? Welcome once again to my YouTube channel, and today let's continue with another round of the COR Championship. Today it is round 11 at the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we are just finishing one of our flying laps as we are going to qualify on the softs, try to do a one-stop strategy, and we are just going to prepare now for our flying lap. We are going to cross over the line to get provisorily P7, I think. But nevertheless, we are now going for a better flying lap, as we need to focus on the braking zone towards turn 1. We could have done a tighter line, and we nearly lose the back end coming out of the first corner, and we are now going downhill into turn 3, I believe this is, as we are braking, downshifting and turning at the same time, now pinking up the speed and going easily full throttle through the right-hander, and now uphill onto the blind left-hander as you start to turn even before you see the corner, because if you only do it after, it's probably too late for you. As you can see, we are going uphill once again, and already 3/10 faster than our previous flying lap, as we enter a very technical section of this track, full of chicanes, as we hold on to a fourth gear for this right-hander, a little bit too wide on exits, but now just a tap on the brakes, a quick downshift to fifth before going up through the gears once again, for this very hard to spot the apex on this right-hander, at least for me. But we are now going onto the hairpin, very slow corner, but we need to be very careful on the throttle application coming out of it to get a good run onto this last corner, which once again is very crucial to get a good acceleration out of, and we are going to cross over the line to post a 1.20.814, which got us P4 at the time, but once the session ends, we drop down to P5, as we have Jamie on pole with Juno in second and Alex in third position, who is in the Mercedes. For some reason he's usually in the Force India, but for some reason this time around he's in the Mercedes. Then we have Bandicoot, me, El Nabu, Speedkiller, Omer, Frozen Luffy and Dildo Schwagens completed the top 10, and so let's move on into the race. Welcome to the Hungaroring, home of some of the most memorable races in F1 history, such as Jenson Button's first win in 2006, or in 1997, when a gearbox failure cost the Arrows team its only ever victory. What a wonderful place this is to come racing today. Located 12 miles northeast of the capital Budapest, the narrow and technical nature of the 4.3-kilometer circuit have made overtaking quite difficult, making some give it the title of Monaco without the barriers. Nevertheless, the last few races have turned up nothing short of exceptional. Let's hope we have another one in store today. As we have perfect conditions for some great racing, let's join the drivers in the cockpits. As we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We nearly lose the back end, do not have the best of starts compared to everyone around us. Most of them are on the super soft tires, we are only on the harder compounds. And into turn 1 we are on the outside line. We have El Nabo and Omer both on our inside, so we have to make room for them. As you can see, our teammate jumped from P7 to P5. We swapped places with El Nabo still in P6, but not for long before I dive on his inside, and I'm already side by side with Homer, even though he has a better line to get a better exit. There is contact between the Red Bull and the Mercedes of Alex, and we are in the wall. We got stacked by the rear end of Omer's car, and we are put in the wall. We even got stuck on the barriers, and that is not good news. As we go further down into the lap, Speedkiller made a pretty big mistake, and we have no front wing, and we are just trying to hold some cars behind us, as Frozen Luffy and some other cars got involved in some other incidents. We are already up to 9th, as we were 13th just a couple of corners ago. But nevertheless, our strategy is practically ruined at this point. We have to go into the pits once again for an entirely new front wing, which is going to put a lot of time between us and the car in front of us, especially the cars we were racing against previously. But fortunately, it was just at the end of lap 1, so we are going to go into the pits and just put a new set of medium tires, I believe, and just see how long we can run with those. I think our tire wear is not bad in this track, and we are very confident in our pace. We qualified fifth among everyone, and we were the first car starting on the softs. So as you can see, at the end of lap 2, the gap is 21 seconds to Frozen Luffy, who is on the super softs, while I am on the medium tires. So we definitely have some work to do here. But as I said already, I'm very confident in my pace, and I think we can make something happen in this race, salvage some points, as we are in the thick of the fight for the leadership of the championship. We already got 1 second down, I think, on Frozen Luffy's advantage, as we are now running with the onboard camera of Juno, who is in second place, pressurized by our teammate Homer, who is already up to P3. So a great start from him, from 7th up to P3, capitalizing the most out of the accidents between the Red Bull of Bandicoot and the Mercedes of Alex, I believe. As now Juno gets overtaken by Homer into turn 1, and is now following the Manor into the pits at the end of lap 7. So they are probably going to fit a set of the medium compound tires, if I am not mistaken. Let's just wait a little bit to see. Jamie also dives into the pits for a set of mediums, as he is the leader of the race. He is not at the best of luck in the last races. He nearly got El Nabo at the end of the British Grand Prix, as El Nabo had a puncture, but it was still not enough to get the position from him. And jumping back to our view, to our camera, we are exactly at the same point, all of those cars pitted, and we are up to P9. So we are already to the in the point, as Alex is in front of us. He who got quicker out of the mess he got into at the first lap. And we are trying to make something, maybe catch him or something, but he is on the soft tires, as we are on the mediums. But at the end of lap 8, let's see how the gap is. As you can see by the minimap, we have quite a gap to the train of cars behind us. And is someone coming out of the pits? I believe it is Speed Killer, who stopped for a set of softs for some reason. Maybe he's on an alternate strategy, but nevertheless he rejoined the track right behind us. So let's see how quick he is on his softs compared to us on the medium compound tires. And as we are going to finish the first sector, we are going to be shortly notified of the gaps, and it is a gap of 2.2 seconds to the Toro Rosso driver, as we are jumping back again to the onboard of Juno, who is behind Homer, who is behind Jamie, as Homer is going to have DRS, but for some reason it looks like Homer cannot make a move just yet, so he dive bombs the hell out of Jamie, but he overshots the corner, and he's actually going to drop down into P5. He could have taken P3, but he ends up actually dropping down into P5. So a mistake from the Turkish driver. And we are at the end of lap 12, being very pressurized by Speed Killer. He might overtake us. As right here, I believe I was just trying to work with him. He's not pulling into my slipstream, so I don't know if he's going to attack me or not. Nevertheless, we have a very poor exit. We lost the back end, and Speed Killer is going to get ahead of us. So at this point, I'm just trying to work with him, as he will get DRS off of me, and I will get DRS off of him, and maybe we can catch up the group in front of us using the DRS. As we are now with Juno now pressurizing Jamie after capitalizing on Homer's mistake. And this time around he has a better exit. He's also on softer tires than the Ferrari driver. and he makes a move down the inside of turn 1, and he actually makes it stick. Omar does not have the space to try anything to capitalize on that little battle, but Juno is now in the lead of this race. At lap 13, Jamie might have something to say, but not yet at least. As we are in lap 15, Speed Killer made a mistake very wide at the exit of turn 3, and that compromised this line over the next corner and this straight as we end the first sector, and we are still very close to him. We were not able to get a good exit in the previous lap to try an overtaking using DRS, but now he overshoots the chicane, and we get P7 back from the Toro Rosso driver. So we are going to see how it pans out for us, as in lap 20 we are diving onto the pits for a set of the soft tires, I am assuming, as we are getting overtaken by Joe, who is on the soft tires. So, lots of drivers are in the soft tires for some reason. They are doing their middle stint on the soft tires. I don't know, I'm not sure about what tires they will land on. Maybe it is a super soft strategy for them. But we rejoin the track, still in the points. We are still in P10 with Rogue in front of us and Frozen Luffy behind us. But we are going to be quicker than Luffy, and we have already a considerable gap to him, as you can see from the minimap. And we are going to catch up to Rogue and some others who are going into the pits, as their soft tires are reaching the end of their lives. And we are maybe going to get ahead of someone. I believe it is Speed Killer. Yes, we overtook Speed Killer, who rejoined the track behind us once again. So let's see what we can make to catch up to, or maybe even overtake Bandicoot, as we are going to lap Dildo Schwaggins, who has disconnected. So his ghosting is not going to affect our race too much. And as you can see, we already posted the fastest first sector, so we are definitely quick around this place. We have already done a good job to get ourselves back in the points. And I think the gap is shortening by every corner we make, basically, as we have a gap of 2.7 seconds to Bandicoot. But then I don't know if the leaders have yet to pit, but there is a 35-second gap, unless I read it wrong. I don't know, I thought it was a 37-second gap, either to first place or to sixth place, I'm not sure. But nevertheless, we are going to be right on the rear diffuser of Bandicoot. He is going to give us DRS, but he goes into the pits for a new set of tires for him. So let's see how behind we are of Alex. We post the fastest lap of the race, and we are 25 seconds adrift of the Mercedes driver. So as you can see, it really cost us the fact that we lost an entire front wing and had to pit for it. The gap is basically how long the pit stop was, in terms of us having to get a new front wing. Alex, I don't think he even had to stop at that time. So yeah, it was a very long pit stop for us, and as you can see from the gaps, we are catching up to him, as Shizzle is now overtaken by Alex. I'm betting he went into the pits and is rejoining the track on a new set of soft tires. Maybe we can overtake him coming out of approaching the turn 1, and we sure do that. So we are up to P6. Apart from our starting position, it's the higher up we were in the Grand Prix so far. So yeah, we got back to basically our position we were when we crashed out. So we are trying to catch to Alex, but I think he was just too fast for us. He was increasing the gaps, if I read it correctly. It was a 10-second gap a while ago. Now it's just over 11 seconds. So I'm not sure about what we can do to improve our position in this race. A Speed Killer is now in P7. And rejoining the race with Juno, now in second behind Hell Napo, who I think he made a middle stint of medium tires. and is going to have very worn tires. Is probably having to pit once again. But Jamie making a move for is going to be net first place, but Juno with somewhat of an undercut, but he cuts too much on the grass and that compromises his exit, so he cannot defend from the move from the Ferrari driver, as Juno is now under pressure from our teammate. He has dropped back quite significantly from the back of Jamie with 3 laps to go. Homer is going to make a move maybe down inside the no, he thinks best about it, decides not to do it, at least for now, but let's see how we go into turn 3. Not yet a move from the Manor driver, but he's definitely pressurizing Juno, and this is a battle for the lead of the championship, if I recall correctly. And Juno is now with a switchback, trying to get P2 once again from Homer, as Homer made the diving move into turn 1, and they are both side by side into turn 3. Juno was not fast enough to make a gap to the Manor driver, and the Manor driver makes a move around the outside, and then he goes just a tad to the right to avoid El Nabo from overtaking him. And El Nabo might try a maneuver right here. He overshoots the corner. Let's see how his tire wear is. He has the softest compound available, but I don't think his exit was good enough to prevent Juno from overtaking him. Maybe he can do the same sort of maneuver than Homer did, and there is contact. So Juno is demoted down to P4. El Nabo is through, and as we are going to reach the last lap, the end of the last lap, we're going to see that Alex, we could never get below the 10 seconds of a gap to the Mercedes driver. He's actually a Force India driver, but was driving a Mercedes for this race for some reason, as Jamie crosses over the line to take a win at the Hungarian Grand Prix. And shortly after, we are going to finish the race ourselves and get P6, which is the best we could do considering the circumstances we were under. And going into the results page, we have Jamie winning with Homer in second, Juno third, benefiting from an El Nabo penalty, probably for corner cutting, then Alex, then me, Speed Killer, Bandicoot, Frozen Luffy, and Rogue closing the top 10, with Chisel in 11th, and Joe M91 with the 12th position at the end of the race. And I think that in last place was Dildo Schwagens, who DNF'd in the middle of the race. And with this, let's move on into the driver's standings, shall we? Now on the Drivers' Championship standings, we have Homer increasing his lead as he has 133 points to his name, and Juno with 11 points behind with only 122. Then we have Ruben closing podium positions, 24 points behind the leader, only 10 points in front of Shizzle, who has 99 points, followed by Widescreen Jamie, who with his win clawed back into the top 5 and is now with 96 points to his name, 10 points ahead of Alex, who is 6 points ahead of El Nabo. The lone Mercedes driver is still in the top 10. And then we have Speed Killer in 8 with 70 points, Ash Bandicoot in 9th with 56, and Mizzy still holding on to his top 10 with 48 points. Moving on to the constructors, then we have Manor still in the lead with 242 points, and Force India with 33 points behind. So they are starting to drop off from the leaders, especially in the last couple of races. And Ferrari in third place, being the only team that has scored more than 100 points and is not still on the 200s. So they are closing the podium positions. And then there is a 99-point gap to Toro Rosso. We are in fourth with Mercedes tied with Red Bull for fifth place, with Renault in seventh with 75 points, then Haas in 8th with 33 points, Williams in 9th with only 4 points, Sauber in 10th with no points, as both their drivers left the league, and McLaren still with no points scored after 11 races. So this is it, guys, for the race report of the Hungarian Grand Prix of the Chicane Online Racing League. And hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, the dislike button is right beside it. So comment if you want to tell me something or do any considerations about the race. And we are going to move on to Germany, I believe. So I hope to see you guys there and have a wonderful day.